What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and today I would like to talk about the longevity of this current crypto bull run that we're in, the Bitcoin bull cycle that is happening right before our eyes. I've seen a lot of, and this video is inspired by what I've seen today. I've seen a lot of posts on X.com from people whose opinions I respect, people who have been in the crypto markets as long as I have, or even longer. I've been in since 2015. This is my third bull run, and I've seen a lot of posts where people are comparing where the halving was and where we are now, and saying that historically speaking that this is where the end of the cycle is. And historically speaking, yes, you're right, but the implication there is that this is the end of the cycle, that right now, this week, last week, the coming weeks, these are the ending moments of the bull run. And I don't see that happening, right? From one veteran to another, I disagree with a lot of these stances that are being taken. So I'm making this video really to make sure that we all have our heads screwed on right, that we're focused, and that we're not distracted by some of the incorrect predictions and calls and theories that are going on in the markets right now. And who am I to say that they're incorrect, right? This is my third bull run. I'm arguing against people who have been in the crypto bull runs. This is their third cycle themselves. But I'm very confident that the data lies with my perspective and not with their perspective. Cyclicality and timing can be powerful, but it's not perfect. And it's perfect until it isn't, right? And there's never really a sign as to when it won't be. But we're going to try to pick that out in this video here. So if that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe. We are going to be using the charts. By the end of this video, I'm hoping that no matter if you understand how the charts work or not, I'm hoping that everybody will walk away from this video having a better comprehension of why I believe the bull market will not top off until Q2 of 2026. That's when I think we're going to top off. Okay, so let's get into it here. Here we are. In order to do this, I think it's important to look at Bitcoin on a monthly basis and use its all-time history, right? We're on the all-time history index right now, monthly time frame. This is Bitcoin. This is its whole life. And you can see through the logarithmic regression we've definitely seen a decrease in the vivaciousness, the voluptuousness of these bull runs as time has gone on. But really, if we're looking at this run compared to the last run, this is a lot more steady. This is a lot more steady. We haven't had that cycle ending blow off top kind of mania phase like we have every single cycle, and I think it's yet to come. That's a primary reason why I think we still have more to go. But this cycle's been a lot more bullish, I would say, than last cycle was. Already, it's been a lot more bullish, just consistently. We haven't seen as much growth overall, but I think we will. We'll get to that. We'll get to all that stuff. But talking about this right now, I full-heartedly expect that we're going to see some of the same telltale signs that we've seen every single cycle. First off, this first high to low, if we measure here with our handy-dandy Fibonacci retracement tool, you can see that the cycle high came in right here, right at the 2272, just above it right there, the 2272. You don't have to understand what the fibs are. You don't have to understand what the significance is of the 2272. Just understand that from a first cycle high to low, that's where we went. We went to this location, the 2272, okay? We take the next cycle high. We put it to the next bear market low. I hope it's obvious as to where the highs and lows are. And again, we topped off right there at the 2272, right there. We take our next cycle high, which was the 2017 high, right here, to the bear market low. And you can see things get a little bit wonky this cycle, right? They're not moving as progressive as we've seen in prior cycles. We had this major 19-month lull with COVID, and we stopped at the golden ratio, the 1618. We actually had a double top there, the first and only double top to end a cycle in Bitcoin's history. I believe this cycle, we were destined to hit the 2272 again. But because of the post-COVID era, because of high inflation, because of a mess of economic catastrophes that were going on at this time, we did not. We did not. And the dollar actually gained strength, and we've never seen that happen in the heart of a bull run. We've never seen the dollar gain strength. And actually, I want to pull that up right now. Let's do that too. Okay. Let's do that real quick. The DXY is the US dollar currency index. Okay. We'll put this on a new scale. The red line here is the dollar. Okay. And we'll zoom this out. For all intents and purposes, you can see, and this is not the all-time history of the DXY, it's just the history since Bitcoin's existed, okay, since this chart for BTC's existed. You can see that during this finale phase of the bull market here, what was happening with the DXY? It was going down. During the finale phase of the bull market here, what was going on with the DXY? It was going down. It was consolidating. During the bear market, this first bear market here, DXY was going up. Bitcoin went down. DXY comes up, bear market time, right? Tapers off, whatever. When we're getting into that hype phase, that parabolic blow off top bullish mania finale phase of every bull market that we've seen, the DXY is decaying. Last cycle, the DXY was decaying as we were having our cycle end. But here, where I think, and this is where Bitcoin saw its technical all-time high, I think we were robbed, my friends. I think we were supposed to see a phenomenal blow off top like we do every single cycle. I think we were supposed to move up higher, but instead what we saw was the DXY was actually growing here. The dollar gained in strength. And because of that, I think that was, that was the beginning of our bear market. That's what held us back. Okay, here we've been moving up. We've been having a solid cycle. The DXY hasn't really moved up at all. But if you've noticed, these upward moments where the DXY expands, it happens every so often. It takes some time. Okay. And actually, on this note, let's actually go to the DXY real quick. Let's look at the DXY as a chart in itself. We'll go on a monthly time frame, and we'll just look at the chart here. Get rid of all the other noise. Okay. The DXY, the dollar currency index, has been in a proper uptrend, higher lows and higher highs, proper channel up since 2008, since the housing market collapse, right? Since that financial catastrophe back in 2008. We had an expansion moment here, we had an expansion moment here, and we had an expansion moment here. And clearly there's moments where we move up, there's moments where we move down, we move up again, but the expansion moments are clear as day, right? Right there, and right there. If we take these expansive moments from the point that we stop to the point that we start again, that was about a 68-month period. We go here, and again, we still saw higher highs, but this was not the expansion phase. This was the expansion phase. To the point that we started again, that was 75 months. Now, 68 months, 75 months, that's pretty close together on a monthly time frame for all these months that have gone by. All I'm trying to get to here, and the main purpose of this, why I'm trying to make this quick, is that from where we expanded last to where we are now, it has been 37 months, okay? 37 months. With Bitcoin here, every time the DXY expands, we are in the middle of a bear market, right? Can you see it, right? Expanding here, we're in the midst of a bear market. Expanding here, we're in the midst of a bear market. Now, the question that, and the reason why I went to lengths to explain this here is that the question might be, well, what if it expands now? That's a great question to ask, and I hope that we can answer. What if it does? 68 weeks, 75 or 68 months, 75 months. We're in our 37th month now since our most recent expansive phase. Donald Trump, whenever he came into office, as he did last time, once a weaker dollar. That's what he said. 2017, we look at this, 2017, January, when he got inaugurated, look, dollar decreased. Okay, dollar decreased. We didn't go into an expansion until when? Until he left office, right? January 2025, when he got inaugurated again, what did we see? We saw the dollar decrease. And does that mean that it's just going to plummet through the floor? No, right? There were moments where it grew during his last presidency, his last administration as well. But we know that he likes a weak dollar, and it's certainly not going to expand with him in charge. Not only that, but going off of a time frame, 68 months to 75 months, 37 months is cutting it pretty short. We're at like half the length of either of these. I don't think that sounds right. We would at least have years before the dollar, the DXY, starts to increase. That might be something we worry about next bull market, not this bull market, okay? We can kick that can down the road. I hope it's clear as to what I'm saying here. We've got more growth to go, and the only thing that could really get in our way, which got in our way last time, which promotes bear markets, is not going to get in our way this time, okay? Moving on, okay? We're going to look at the RSI now. We're going to look at a couple indicators, actually. We're going to look at the RSI. Let's look at the pi cycle and the RSI together. Why not? We've got them both, okay? Here's the pi cycle. And for those of you that don't know the pi cycle, it's the, it's the 350-day moving average and the 111-day moving average as well, with some other things going on there. Basically, 350 divided by 11 is like close to pi. It's basically like really close to pi, but in a time-based formation, they use these numbers. They're a little bit better, more sophisticated. All I'm trying to say is that with the pi cycle top, we get a clear indication, we have had a clear indication every single bull market so far where the cycle top is, right? We go back to the very beginning days, all the way back here. Now, we didn't get an indicator here because the red line was already above the green line. You'll notice these pi cycle tops, they always happen when the red line, this moving average here, the red line, once it crosses above the green line, that's where our pi cycle top comes in. And this was not even the cycle high. This was just a momentary high in our 2013 to or our 2011-2013 bull market, right here. Called that high, and then like just perfect to a T, you called the cycle top here in 2013. the red line crossed above the green line, right? Notice the pi cycle bottoms are pretty close too, but they're not always perfect, if I'm not mistaken. Again, the red line crosses above the green line. That calls the top here. Pi cycle bottom, pretty perfect there as well. Here, we go to the last cycle. Pi cycle top was indicating here. Was that the all-time high? No, we did go higher, but this was the end of the bull market. We had a crab market, then we began the bear market, right? Pi cycle bottom is here. We did have lower to go. We go to this bull market. The red line, in order to get us to the cycle high, would have to cross above the green line. So we'd have to cross above the green line. But this red line, I don't know if you guys noticed, the red line doesn't move at a exponential pace, right? It doesn't just move through the ceiling at some point, right? It takes weeks and months. It takes months to get from the center of this channel between the green line and the blue line to get the red line to get above the green line there. We are months away. Months is what I just said. Months away from hitting the green line, because we're not just going to do it overnight. We're not going to teleport up there, okay? This very reliable indicator, which is called every single cycle top since it's existed perfectly, and even other tops perfectly, it won't happen until we get above the green line, which is all the way up at about $200,000. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but every single time that the cycle top has come in, the price was not just above the green line. The price was also above the red line. So the red line has to get above $200,000 before the cycle top is in, but the price will likely be somewhere higher than that. Are we on the same page? The cycle top, wherever it might be so far, we haven't even gotten to the price predictions aspect yet, will at least be something that is well above $200,000, right? That's where, if we look at this over here, you can see in the green, it says $200,868. That's where the cycle top will be. And according to this, we're not just going to teleport there overnight. It's going to take months. It's going to take months. It's October right now. Months implies either at least the end of this year, if not likely going into 2026, okay? Whenever we were here, whenever we were in the heart of this channel like we are now, how long did it take before we saw the pi cycle top? That took us 25 weeks. Whenever we were here in the heart of this channel right here, before this parabolic phase started right here, how long did it take before we saw our cycle top? That was about 39 weeks. And then here, this isn't really a good comparison. Maybe right here, we're in the middle, right before this fantastic rally happens. How long was that? That was about 21 weeks as well. So 20 weeks, 40 weeks, somewhere in there, right? 20 weeks, 40 weeks. Can we get on the same page? Is that acceptable? And let's pretend that right here, that this is the beginning of the next phase up, that this week, last week, was the beginning of our parabolic end of cycle finale phase. Let's pretend that for a second, okay? 20 to 40 weeks out puts us in February of next year to July of next year. So somewhere in that time frame. It could be February, it could be March, April, May, June, or July. Somewhere in that kind of time frame there, that context, based off of what we've seen so far, okay? And let's actually put some lines there. February, whatever week it was, maybe it's this week here. I don't really care. July, I don't think we're going to top off in February. I don't think we're going to top off in July either. But we've got that much time going forward, okay? Now let's look at the RSI. The RSI, which has been instrumental in every single cycle top, right here. Every single bull cycle, the monthly RSI has interacted with this trend line. Every cycle, except for this cycle so far. Very bullish accumulative phase here. Very, very bullish pressure building here. This is not a bearish phase in the RSI, you guys. And I want to change this. It's purple on purple. It's hurting my eyes. Let's change this color. Let's make it orange. It'll stand out a little bit better, yeah? Every cycle, we've hit this trend line. And I don't know when we're going to hit it. Are we going to hit it next month? Are we going to hit it in December? Are we going to hit it here? I mean, at the current trajectory, it kind of makes sense that we'd go for it here, maybe. Q2 of 2026, that makes sense. But that's not why I think Q2. Let's take this white line away and just see what happens every time we top off. Well, here we had 2 peaks. Here we had 2 peaks. Here we had 2 peaks. And here we have 1, 2 peaks. The second peak of every single one of these tops in the RSI, the second peak, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The second peak always is where the all-time high was, is where the cycle top, pi cycle top was, right? Or maybe not the pi cycle top here because it didn't exist yet, or it was just too new. Cycle top there, cycle top there, cycle top there, cycle top here, which it says we don't have a cycle top here, but we did. We did get a cycle top indicator. Is it just not showing because it's on the monthly? That's weird. Yeah, it's right there. Cycle top was here, but the RSI topped off here where the price topped off. We can't see it because the pi cycle's there. Let me mute this real quick. Right there. You can see that's where the cycle topped off. The second peak every single time is where the bull market topped off. Okay? The second peak. Let me get this. Let me delete all these. We haven't even had our first peak yet, have we? We've got a lot of work to do. In between each of these peaks was a gap of time. We're on the monthly time frame. One peak here to the second peak there, that was 4 months in time. One peak here to the second peak here, that was 7 months in time. One peak here to the second peak here was 4 months in time. And again, you guessed it, 4, 7, 4, and 7. 7 months in between each peak. Now, I could do the easy thing and say, okay, well, that's that. Once we hit this trend line up here that we've hit every single time, we've gone 4, 7, 4, 7. Now we just wait for that, and then 4 months later we'll top off. Maybe that's what happens. I'm going to expand on that thought and say we've seen something between a 4-month to a 7-month gap every single cycle, which implies then that even if we hit this trend line this month, by the end of October, we rally so hard that we come all the way up, which we're not going to, by the way. But by the end of this month, we hit that trend line. If it's a 4 to 7 month window afterwards, right? I'm going to delete these white lines because they're more distracting than I think they're helpful, actually. 4 to 7 month time frame afterwards, at the end of this month, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, right? 4 to 7 month afterwards. We haven't even hit this line yet. We get 2 peaks every single cycle. Even last cycle, this peak was just lower, but it was still a 7, 4, 7, 4. I could only imagine that we're hitting this line probably going into the end of this year, going into December. That's my thoughts. And then if we hit it in December, likely what's going to happen then, right? We pick up the pace, we hit this in December. Likely what's going to happen then is that 4 months later to 7 months later, we're going to top off. 4 to 7 months then is May to July. In the first instance where we did this 4 to 7, we hit this line here in October. 4 to 7 months from then is February to May. In the event where we hit this line in December, it's May to July. And that encapsulates perfectly this original target area that we had based on timing. Based on how long these finale phases start, based on the pi cycle top indicator here, whenever we are starting to make that move up to cross the green, this is the area that we got. It lines up perfectly with the idea that we see our first interaction of the RSI hitting this trend line in December. Okay, I hope it's all clear. I know I've got a lot of stuff going on here, but let's just wrap it up real quick. Again, to make it real simple, pi cycle top, not hit yet. Are we above 200,000? No, we're at least going to go above 200,000 by the end of the cycle, guys. We're probably going to be worth $500,000 by the end of the cycle. Okay. RSI trend line hit? No. And when it hits, we will have a 4 to 7 month window before we actually find our top. Let's say it's less. Let's say it's not 4 to 7. Let's say it's 2 to 5. Let's say it's a 2 to 3 month window. Okay, we have multiple months after we interact with this trend line, which we're months away from hitting now, before the cycle's over. In no way, shape, or form are we done. And actually, let's look it up here too on CoinGlass. Cycle top, right? Isn't it cycle? No. Top. Is it end? I don't know. Where is it? Let me see. Pi cycle indicator. No, it's something else. Is it called bull market? Bull cycle? Peak. It's peak indicators. That's what it is. Right. Peak. Bull market peak indicators. None of them have hit. Not a single one of them have hit. There are 30 different indicators that are pretty reliable whenever it comes to identifying the end of the bull market. 100% of them have not hit. That means we're 100% in hodl mode right now. Okay. Again, the main purpose behind making this video, the main reason why I decided to make this video today is because I've seen so many posts on x.com where people are calling for the end of the cycle. And it's nonsense. It's just nonsense. I hope that everybody by the end of this video understands that to some degree, that there is an unprecedented amount of data that suggests we have more to go. The only piece of data that suggests that this is the end of the cycle is the halving to end of cycle historical data, which every cycle, the bull markets have actually gotten longer. So it might make sense that this cycle is the longest cycle we've seen so far. That's the last thought I'm going to leave you guys with. I have nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. We are genuinely going to see a price for Bitcoin that's worth $500,000 or more. That's actually, and I forgot to include that. I said buy, but I'm not going to say buy. I forgot to include that, right? The reason why I think we're going to $500,000 is because, again, from a high to a low, a bull market high to low, 2 out of 3 cycles, we've hit the 2272. Last cycle, we stopped at the 1618 because the DXY robbed us blind. We were in an expansion phase while the bull market was trying to grow higher. We did grow higher. We saw a slightly higher high, but we were held up because the DXY was expanding. This cycle, we don't have that. $500,000, the 2272, every cycle before, except for last cycle. We went not just to the 2272, but just a little bit above it. What is just above $462,000? $500,000. Now, do you one better, okay? $500,000, psychological point of resistance, right above the 2272, like we've seen out of 2 out of our 3 bull markets in the past. $500,000 is the same price that we will see when Bitcoin hits a $10 trillion market cap. 2272, resistance. We've seen that significant historical significance in the past. $500,000, psychological resistance. $10 trillion market cap. Psychological resistance. Pi cycle high. The pi cycle high, or pi cycle indicator, it only goes off once the red line is above the green line. And the price, I don't know if you notice, every single time is well above the green line. Every single time that these cycle tops come in. Our green line's at $200,000 right now. And as we continue, as the months continue, this line will only grow higher. We're going to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars by the end of this cycle. It is not done here. I'll see you on the next one. I'm done for real. Bye.